Eh bien, bonjour à toutes et à tous, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle conférence. J'entends plus rien. Luan, comment vas-tu?
Ça va! On est actuellement au centre d'un très très grand réacteur. Je sais pas à quoi s'entendre, mais ça va être sympa. Voilà. Et toi, comment que ça
C'est
va?
incroyable. Ça va très bien. On sait historique.
14,
La
13,
conférence de la hype. C'est maintenant.
9, 8. On sait pas si on est synchro, mais ça commence, c'est tout ce qu'on sait.
Ça va commencer, moi aussi.
0. Ah oui, bah voici la conférence.
Bonjour.
Il y a des sous-titres. Ok, non, c'est le génère automatiquement.
Welcome to this year's
Ah oui,
Accessibility
est-ce qu'il y
Summer
a des...
Showcase 2024. I'm your host Laura.
Il y a que
I'm a white
anglais, je suis
woman with
désolé.
bright blue hair,
C'est
shaped on one
générateur
side, wearing a plain black
automatiquement.
dress. I'll keep this introduction brief, as I know you're here to find out about cool upcoming accessible video games.
Donc
The
480p, let's go.
Accessibility Summer Showcase aims to be a place for disabled gamers to find out about cool upcoming and
Aussi, je l'ai en
recently released video
480 alors qu'on
games,
peut aller
while
beaucoup plus
knowing
haut.
upfront if they're likely to be accessible
Oh,
for
voilà.
release. While not every single video game showcase today is going to be accessible for every single disabled gamer, the aim of the showcase is that, wherever possible, there will be at least a couple of interesting games shown
Bon,
today
madame
that
est
are
en
going
train
to be
d'expliquer
playable
un peu
for
le
you, no matter
concept.
who you are. If you'd benefit
Voilà.
from audio description or
Alors,
sign language
je
interpreter
vais un peu baisser le
support,
son.
there are
Moi, de toute façon, vous pouvez lire directement de mon côté. Bon, voilà. On ne sait pas à quoi s'attendre. C'est la première fois qu'on regarde un Accessibility Summer Showcase. Donc bon,
Tu viens
petite
de voir
découverte.
le... Tu viens de voir le titre.
Totalement. Oh. Ah oui.
S'il vous plaît, donnez-nous des sous.
So if you'd like to support the Accessibility Summer Showcase, please consider supporting Accessibility at patreon.com/.
Ah, il est à moi, d'accord. Je me suis dit, tiens, oui, parce qu'il parlait de Steam et tout. Non, non, Patreon.
Car...
Now, without any further introduction, let's jump into the games.
C'est parti.
This is Elsie, the upcoming retro-inspired bullet
Peut-être à
hell
préciser
action
aux gens qui nous
platform
regardent
roguelike shooter
que
from Night Shift Games and Playtonic
nous allons
Friends.
avoir 20 jeux
Elsie
présentés
isn't
lors
just
de la
packed with
conférence. Je sais
hyphenated
pas si ça
genre
va être
tags
précisé.
and technical action,
Tout à
however.
fait.
The Night Shift team
Je sais
have
pas s'ils l'ont
hard
dit, mais c'est en
worked to provide
description.
a host of accessibility features to make Elsie as accessible as possible to anyone who wants to play. If you just want to absorb the gorgeous style and play through the story, there's an invincibility mode, which might also come in handy if you're struggling against a particularly tricky boss fight. And to help you focus on the hyperkinetic on-screen action,
La qualité revient petit à petit de mon côté. C'était bon, on est en 1080p. Et j'ai rien touché.
Le jeu a l'air sympa
There are
quand même.
also options for
Il a
adjusting the
l'air...
amount of screen shake you experience to help with this even further. Elsie is an incredibly colourful game, so it has options to assist those with colour vision deficiency too. Options for player outline and enemy outline also allow you to adjust the hue to your liking, to make sure the technicolor action is as visible as possible.
C'est vrai que c'est un jeu.
If you need assistance with reflex
mignon.
mechanics, there will also be an option
Enfin,
to adjust the timing
ouais.
required to correctly hit a
Avec des
parry,
bombes.
as well as following up with those all-important counterattacks. So to recap, there's an invincibility mode, parry and counterattack timing adjustments, font size modifier, colorblind assistance, player and enemy outline options, rumble strength and screen shake modifiers, and options to blur, desaturate, or remove backgrounds. Elsie is a love letter to retro action platformers of old, while packing in plenty of new elements to give the genre a modern twist, and we want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy the experience. Please consider wishlisting the game on Steam today if you like what you see, and stay tuned to the Night Shift and Playtonic socials for more info soon.
Eh ben. Un jeu.
Bonjour
tout
Réa.
Hi everyone, I'm Ria. I am
Oh,
part of
c'est
the
tout
D'accord.
mignon.
person
Vous avez vu,
integrated
nous
to
avons
place
un
of the
décalage avec
game.
Deathklaw, nous allons donc actualiser. Bam.
Attends, tu veux que je mette sur pause?
There are no forced day-night
Oh,
cycles in
attends.
Fishbowl, and you
Non.
can take all
Je te
the
dirai.
time you
Oh.
need to
Et là, ça a l'air
explore
d'aller.
Alo's house. You video call
J'ai actualisé,
Luanvsmario and
j'ai
have
vu à peine
conversations
directement le
with
jeu.
them in
Ça a
a
l'air tout
clear
mignon.
sans serif font. You work from home
Du
as a
montage.
gaming video
What the
editor,
fuck?
where you match snippets
Quoi,
with
vous me
direct
demandez de faire
feedback
dans un
from
jeu ce que je fais
colors
pas en
or
vrai?
This game has no fail state.
Il en est hors de
No matter
question.
how you do, your colleagues will cheer you on and support you. You sort through puzzles to rediscover childhood memories. No time limits or penalties here. Take your time to go through all the sentimental objects Aloe has received, whether it's through keyboard, mouse, or the controller. Do
One day,
pair tasks and get to know yourself better one
Le
day
style
at a
du
time.
jeu m'intrigue beaucoup.
Currently, Fishbowl has few
Ça c'est intriguant,
options
ouais.
to
D'accord.
change the volume of sound effects and music, and also an option to turn off screen shake. We also make sure to have both visual and audio cues for important events. Take your time to notice them as there is no rush to respond. Our demo starts off with a content warning as it addresses and explores themes of grief, loss, loneliness, and isolation. We are a small team and we have a lot more to do before release. We are working on accessibility specific settings like removing screen sway, turning off text effects and typing, providing a larger font size, an option to slow down video editing, and adding a way to skip the puzzles. We have a long way to go and we will try to do our best. We hope you will come along.
Très
Thank you.
intriguant. Ah, j'ai pas le temps de prendre une photo.
Waco the Mask Gatherer is an exciting third-person adventure game developed by Zero Games. Immerse yourself in the world of Waco.
Je suis désolé, monsieur, il parle, mais je veux ma photo. Bam. Je reprends. Bam.
Of Waco, a mysterious
On dirait un jeu
Waco
fait sous
embarking
Dreams.
on a quest to collect the most powerful
Je vois
masks
ce
of
que
its
tu veux
world.
dire.
Explore diverse landscape, from vibrant villages to dark forests. Each
Attention,
environment
j'ai pas
is
dit que
carefully
je fais, mais-
crafted to immerse players in a rich
Très sympa.
sensory experience, with
pas.
ambient sounds everywhere, like bird songs, flowing water, and echoing footsteps on every surfaces, guiding your exploration. Our maps are thoughtfully designed to ensure clear auditory cues, allowing players to navigate with ease and fully immerse themselves in the world of Waco. Dive into a world full of quests and puzzles, from helping villagers to unraveling ancient mysteries. Our intuitive inventory systems make managing items a breeze, with color-coded references and clear icons, ensuring accessibilities for all players. And with the ability to customize sounds in the main menu, players can tailor the game to their preferences. Prepare for epic battles as you meet formidable enemies throughout your journey.
Il est pas anglais, le monsieur, maintenant que j'y pense.
Empowering players to adapt their fighting styles and overcome challenges. And with distinct sounds for every enemy, player can rely on auditory cues
Ouais,
to
j'étais en train de dire,
anticipate and react
est-ce qu'il est
Yes,
français
making
ou
the game accessible
c'est un autre accent?
We are committed to making gaming
Ouais.
inclusive for
Le
everyone.
ennemi, on me la fait pas.
I think this is Ubisoft accent.
Yes. I agree.
Gatherer.
We invite you to
Gather.
embark on a memorable adventure where
Oh,
exploration,
wow.
puzzles, and epic battles await.
Oh, wow.
Join us
Oula.
and uncover the secrets of the whimsical
Pardon.
world of Waco the Mask Gatherer.
Pourquoi?
merde,
Waouh,
il
j'ai pas,
est-
j'ai pas compris.
Non, la qualité de la caméra, je parlais.
Ah, oh, même en actualisant, t'es encore devant.
I am a blind podcast host,
Bah,
accessibility
si tu veux mettre en
consultant,
pause 2 secondes,
professional
ça
speaker,
devrait être bon.
and this is why accessibility in gaming is important to me. I will always remember how back in
Juste la qualité de la
2019,
caméra.
when Kingdom
Ouais, en
Hearts 3
effet.
had just released
S'il a dit qu'il
outside
était,
of the Let's Play of the
il
game,
avait du mal avec la
I had been
vision
a
et tout,
long-time fan of the series
vraiment,
and was
je pense
finally
qu'il avait
ready
dit
to
qu'il était blind.
experience the end of the trilogy.
Je crois que
However,
lui, il
at
prend une
this point in
enfin,
time,
lorsqu'il
I was
joue,
unaware of
il est
how
aussi sur
bad
son
my
tapis de course ou
retinitis
pas?
pigmentosa
Genre, il
had
joue, il a une
gotten,
manette en main, il court.
and just how much of my usable vision I really had lost.
C'est-à-dire, Luan,
I
explique.
Non, je sais pas,
not
écoute,
only
ça
not
peut être un
being
enchaînement assez intéressant, tu vois, de...
old, but
Mais tu vois bien que le
just not
tapis, il est
knowing
contre le
where
mur.
I needed to go or what I needed
Ah bah
to
si,
do
oui,
to
mais faut le
progress
déplacer un peu, le
throughout the
tapis,
game.
pour voir quand même l'écran,
I will
enfin la
never
télé.
forget how upset I was and how I ended up calling my mother and father
Faut
and
bien que ça serve à
crying
quelque
on the
chose,
phone
non?
and just
Je pensais pas que la
telling them,
première dinguerie, elle
hey, I think
sortirait
I
de ta
have to
part.
give up on
Ah non,
gaming.
non,
I
c'est une
think
proposition tout à fait
that
normale
because of
de
my blindness,
jouer, de
I can
courir en
no
même temps,
longer keep
je vois pas
gaming.
de problème. Hein.
Non mais
And it was
attends,
a
en vrai,
pretty
vraie
big
question.
thing for
Est-ce
me
que
because
c'est un vrai débat,
growing up, video
C'est
games
en
had
vrai,
been the best
en
way
termes
for
de
me to cope
productivité, je pense que c'est
with
littéralement la
losing my
meilleure chose à
vision
faire.
and
Genre tu
just
cours
not
et en
being
même
able
temps
to
tu...
control
C'est ça. Bon, par contre,
killing
faut
a
pas
lot of
perdre
life.
d'équilibre
I
quand tu
had
cours.
no intentions
Ah bah
to
non.
never play
Que
a
t'as une
video
manette en
game
main.
Tu joues à Helldivers.
and for the next
Tu
2
joues à
years
Helldivers 2.
I kept true to that promise.
Tu cours sur
I
le
thought
qui est dans le
I
jeu.
would go the rest of my
C'est
life
ça.
without
Genre, tu
playing
cours dans la
video
vraie vie,
games.
tu te dis, mais pourquoi je cours pas dans le jeu? Ah
You
bah,
know, in
ça marche pas comme
2021,
ça.
my brother-in-law, he sent me a text telling me about a game called The Last of Us Part 2 and how I should check it out, which I thought was crazy.
On était en train de parler, je vois
I
The Last
remember
of Us
being
Part
able to
2
play
écrit.
the first game,
Je
that
sais pas
is,
vraiment ce qu'il
back
raconte, mais ça a l'air
when I
intéressant.
had usable vision,
Ça,
and I was just thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to play the sequel due to my limited amount
ça
of
marqué
vision.
The Last of Us Part 2.
And boy, was I wrong. I could have not been any more wrong.
En fait,
And
c'est
it was a welcome
ils ont juste
surprise for me
enregistré
myself
une
to
réunion
boot
sur
up the
Zoom.
game and realize that
Regarde en bas à
my
gauche,
vision wasn't
chat
the
bouton.
problem.
Oui, oui, hein.
It was that up until this
Pas de
point,
bouton.
games really just weren't being made to accommodate gamers like myself and so many
Excusez-moi,
others.
monsieur, mais
If
vous
it
avez un
wasn't for the
gameplay pour
work
votre
that
jeu?
Brandon Cole and Naughty Dog did on The Last of Us Part 2, I don't think I would ever have gotten back into gaming, and I can only imagine where my life would be right now if I didn't get back into gaming. I owe accessibility in gaming so much.
Pourquoi ils précisent leur produit?
Hello, my name is Stefan Gagny, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a physically disabled gamer. I run Fiction Factory Games, and we make character-driven narrative games such as Arcade Spirits The New Challengers, Penny Larceny, Gig Economy Supervillain,
Je suis pas sûr, je pense qu'il aime bien le style arcade.
Shadow over Cyberspace. Today, I'd like to demonstrate some of the accessibility
Et un peu
technology
comics,
that
mais
we've
ça, je suis
built
moins
into
sûr.
our games. I'll use our latest game, Penny
Oh,
Larceny.
waouh! C'est pas du
In
tout
this
ce à quoi je
comic book
pensais.
romantic comedy, you play as a criminal underling named Penny, working for various
Bonjour,
supervillains
Penny.
to help put food on the table.
Oh ouais.
All of
Ah,
our
c'est
games
vrai.
feature a self-voicing mode. Just tap the V key at any time to activate.
Attends, que ce soit la voix...
In this
La
mode,
voix
extra
artificielle.
narration is used to describe imagery, and user interfaces are streamlined. Let's
Oh, ouais.
demonstrate with this scene where Penny, the woman in the black and white striped shirt and mask, is going out on a date with Farsight, the superheroine in the colorful but practical costume.
Farsight, I'm so glad we're finally able to talk outside of our day jobs. It's nice
se
to
pas
get
de
away
rire,
from
Luan.
all that mask and cape stuff. Penny, absolutely. What's a good first date
Doubleur.
question?
The beeping sound lets players know that it's time to make a choice.
Ça pour ça, oui. je veux bien
Alright, let's see. What do we pick
Utilisateur
here?
d'écran, mais dans le
What
jeu,
are
c'est
her
marrant.
hobbies?
Oh, marrant, c'est bien.
Sewing, stamp collecting,
C'est horrible.
virtual pet raising.
Bah,
Would she rather fight one
pour ceux
horse-sized
qui
duck
voient pas, c'est
or
pratique, tu vois.
100 duck-sized horses?
Ouais, mais je parlais du
Penny,
doublage.
I'd like to ask
Bon, le
you an
doublage,
important
Il y en a pas.
one
c'est pas... Oui,
scholar's
voilà, c'est pas vraiment
philosophers
doublage.
wrestled
C'est,
with for
Du
generations.
doublage, il y en a pas.
Penny, one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Which do you fight? Farsight. Oh, horse-sized duck. I
Je sais
actually
pas ce qu'il
fought him
raconte, mais
last
ça a
night.
l'air très bizarre.
For sighted players, we have options to help customize the user interface
En
to
gros, il
their
présente
needs.
des
You can
options
adjust fonts
d'accessibilité
used
dans
by the game.
Ah oui, non,
Par
mais
rapport
par rapport à ce qu'ils
l'interface.
racontaient entre eux, les
A
demoiselles.
simplified font for easy
Ah, j'ai pas
readability.
écouté.
Ah non, je sais
And
pas,
the
je voyais le mot
standard
horse,
open
duck,
dyslexia
je
font.
comprenais pas trop, mais...
These changes
Genre
carry through to
demi-horse.
user interfaces, dialogue boxes, and more. Dialogue is colored to match the speaking character, or can be set to monochrome. You can also invert the text box to white. Lastly, I'd like to give a little sneak peek into our next game, The Shadow over Cyberspace, in
Qu'est-ce
which
que
the
c'est que ce
Cthulhu
jeu? Il
mythos
sortira
is
sur Amiga.
retold through the apocalyptic lens of the Y2K crisis and 90s internet culture. In this game, we make use
Oh.
of video and screen filters to create retro computer effects. Seen here is an example of that, with an angry woman drawn in pixel art on a laptop screen, with a looping video of fire behind her, and an LCD filter on top.
Nyarlathotep, speak your piece or go in pieces. Who are you, and what convinced you that approaching the crawling chaos was a good life decision?
For players
Moi,
with
moi, ce que je vois là, c'est un virus qui te parle. Désolé, mais...
You get the same visual
Moi, ça me fait un peu
clearer
peur.
static picture and
C'est
easier
peut-être
on the
que ça
eyes.
le jeu en fait.
The game also makes use of video
En fait,
during
peut-être que le jeu est un
sequences where
virus.
you watch television.
Mhm.
We use open captioning to ensure everyone can enjoy this part of the game, and when using self-voicing mode, additional visual narration is added.
Static gives way to the TV23 logo. WYG.
C'est pas la voix de synthèse qui
Innsmouth,
qui lit les
Dunwich.
sous-titres.
A TV test pattern plays through static.
Here is a world of communication, tailored for your needs of today and tomorrow, bringing together all people in a new era of understanding.
Two teenagers visit a 1950s World's Fair exhibit on telecommunications.
Moving forward, I'm hoping to ensure all our stories are as accessible as we can make them.
En train de me dire, là, tu vois, il présente 4 jeux, mais c'est vraiment un quart de
Thanks for
la
your time,
conférence.
and have a good one.
Ah non.
Hello, I'm Lucy Blundell,
Oh, il en a
indie
présenté que 2.
developer behind Videoverse, which is a narrative adventure game focusing on character development, friendship, and love in the old school internet. As a disabled developer, I wanted to include positive disability representation in the story, but the game itself has many accessibility features that I'd like to share with you today.
Je te promets, ils traduisent en français, je suis sûr le jeu il doit être trop bien.
Keyboard, touchscreen, or
Oh, ça, je
controller.
passe les yeux, ça.
There are no button
Secours.
combos, no quick responses required, no strobe effects,
Oh, et la musique.
and the
Il,
game is
il
generally
est trop
low
bien le
pressure.
jeu, il a l'air trop bien.
Navigation is also large and clear, with audio cues upon selection. Videoverse is made in RenPy, the visual novel engine, which already includes several accessibility features. There's self-voicing and separate volume bars for sound, music, and voice. The default font can be switched for a clear, easy-to-read font, and all fonts are large and high contrast. If you
Le
miss
jeu,
a
il a l'air
thought
trop
or
bien.
conversation, you can check the log to see what you may have missed. And when it comes time to saving, you can manually save at any point or use the autosave feature. Though there are some additional features too. There is a typing noise during chat conversations, which can be turned off in the preferences menu.
Wow, tous les trucs.
Closed captions are also available, but audio is not required to play Videoverse.
Ça, c'était tous les mots pour
And
bien
since
décrire ma
Videoverse
chaîne.
covers heavy topics such as depression, abuse, and neglect, there is also a content warning list that can be accessed.
Attends,
The
j'ai pas
default
compris son
Videoverse
histoire
theme
de
is
liste.
black and white, clear and high contrast. But there are many different color themes,
La liste des
some of
sujets
which are
sensibles.
colorblind friendly, and these can be changed at any time. And on the pause menu, there is a tip button in the top left corner. Use this
Je
to
suis
get a
absorbé
hint
par le
if you
jeu.
ever feel stuck. If there's a feature missing that you'd like to see, please send me an
Maintenant.
email at contact@gamesbykimoku.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the old school experience of Videoverse.
Ah d'accord, ce
J'adore
n'était pas
son-
une blague.
J'adore son Lenza en or sur la porte là.
Waouh.
Oh mon dieu, ça tease Gears of War 6 pour après-demain. D'ailleurs, moi je vais devoir préparer mon bingo moi, pour
En effet.
la conférence.
Moi je ferai mon petit bingo, mais pour Nintendo.
Il y a une épée. Ah, j'avais pas vu là, les figurines de Halo.
Vous ne voyez plus rien. Ça arrive les gens. Voilà, vous voyez. Et si je refais ça?
As well as a gold lancer from Gears of War 4, the replica of that iconic weapon. So, for those who don't know,
Il a failli y avoir un débordement de ma part. Hein. J'étais en train, je regardais un autre truc sur mon autre écran. J'ai tourné la tête et je me suis dit mais.
Ouais, la manette c'est pas le bon écran.
Ah non 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 mais je. Alors, je comprenais pas trop pourquoi il faisait comme Pierre dans Pokémon quoi. Mais sans aller trop. Trop dans le détail. Aucune réaction, c'est bon. Alors, j'étais en train de regarder par rapport au jeu qu'on a vu juste avant. Il y a une démo gratuite. Et le jeu il coûte 12 € en complet. Il n'y a que de l'anglais.
About building, well, tiny cities. When I first heard about this game, it sounded really intriguing to me, not just because of the wonderfully alliterative name, and the developer is keen to make this as accessible as possible. So I would highly recommend giving this a look if you're even remotely interested in something new and, in my case, relatively unfamiliar. But I'm not going to try and spoil any of this, because here is a little trailer to show you just what this game is all about, as well as, of course, its accessibility features. Here is Cellular City from developer Callum Deary.
This is Cellular City, a puzzle game about building tiny cities. Cellular City's primary mechanic is rules around neighbouring buildings. For example, you can't have a steel foundry next to a block of flats.
A3 is a flats. B3 is empty. B2 is empty. Foundry placed in B2.
On the other hand, some buildings like each other, like stations and flats.
C2 is a station. B2 is empty. Flats placed in B2.
It has text-to-speech and audio description of levels, with a focus on accessibility for blind and low-vision players. This includes settings to modify text-to-speech volume, rate, and voice, alongside keyboard and controller support.
Start building.
Level audio description starts automatically on level load, but can be reprompted by the player at any time.
Describing city. A1 is empty, B1 is a rail, C1 is a rail, A2 is a hill, B2 is a mine, C2 is a station, A3 is empty, B3 is empty, C3 is a rail.
The player's movement around the level.
A2 is a hill.
It's also described, as are their actions on placing buildings.
A3 is empty. Flats placed in A3.
The player can also prompt inspections of buildings to find out more about them.
A flat's brutalist streets in the sky. Always controversial with neighbors near and far.
So if you're interested in a puzzle game about the tensions in a modern city, check out Cellular Cities demo on itch.io.
Hi, I'm the developer of Upheaval, a text-based open-world roguelike adventure where you can explore the wilderness, search for magic treasures, and shift the balance of power for 30 in-game days before a powerful magician brings big changes to the world around you. Upheaval is turn-based, with no timed actions and no complex controls. All text is big, easy to read, and high contrast. The background can be disabled, turned to dark mode, or both. Upheaval is completely blind playable without sighted assistance. You can use your favorite screen reader in the command line version.
Abandoned tower, armory, 26 days left, early night, 5/6. The muffled sound of a nightbird can be heard outside. 1. Go up the stairs, no time. 2. Go down the stairs, no time. 3. Open the chest, no time. 4. Search this area, 1 time, random, time searched, 0. 5. Make camp, 2 time.
Or the customizable text-to-speech in the graphical version.
You're in, abandoned tower, top floor. You're on the top floor of the tower. Stairs lead down to the floor below. Stone windows look out in all directions over the prairies. It's cold up here.
La voix devrait être encore plus rapide.
Press tab to highlight it. Go down the stairs, no time. Look out over the prairies, 1 time. Search this area, 1 time. Success is random. Make camp, 2 time. This is the last option.
Volume levels can be adjusted separately for music, sound effects, ambient sound, and text-to-speech. Keyboard and controller inputs are both supported, and control remapping will be added before release. Difficulty levels can be adjusted either before or during each game. You can grant more in-game time, conjure items, teleport, use the rewind button planned before release, or any combination of these. You can try the free demo of Upheaval on Steam today. Wishlist Upheaval on Steam to support this project. If you have any questions about accessibility, please reach out using my contact info at upheavalgame.com.
Hi everyone, it's your host Laura here again. I want to take some time today to talk about a game that we wanted to include in this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase, and timings just did not work out for putting together a formal trailer to showcase this game, but I still really think that this game is doing some interesting stuff and I think it is worth talking about, so I'm going to put together a little tease just to
Menu
try
de
and tell you a little bit
PS3 le
about
jeu.
I wish we could have included more formally here today. Periphery Synthetic is a chill, relaxed, non-violent Metroidvania that takes place in first person and is particularly notable for being designed to be able to be played without any visual input, to be able to be played purely with audio cues. You play as someone who has been tasked with surveying a planetary system in an upgradable exosuit, and are able to explore by following
J'ai cru que son cheveu avait planté, vous
musical
voyez le curseur.
audio cues that are built into the soundscape of the game to collect materials that will allow you to craft and upgrade your movement abilities, while doing this sort of non-linear exploration of a planet. It is a really unique game, trying some very interesting stuff in terms of how it presents its exploration cues. There is a demo available to play on itch.io if you search for Periphery Synthetic EP. The full game will be coming to Steam in summer of 2024. You can find a link to it on the Steam sale page this year that we have for all of the games included in the Accessibility Summer Showcase. I know that the developer of this game was real frustrated to not be able to have a trailer ready in time for our submission deadline, and I really wanted to still be able to include them, so I've put this together, and hopefully this gives you a sense of this really interesting game that I think is worth checking out.
Trash Goblin is a wholesome and cozy shopkeeping game where you uncover and clean trinkets other people have thrown away, then upcycle them to sell to an endless parade of colorful and quirky customers. You can then spend your savings to upgrade your shop, buy new and better tools to unlock more activities, and even expand your business to exciting new districts across town. Trash Goblin has always been intentionally designed to be enjoyed by as many people as possible. There are no fail states or time pressures, no skill gates to content, and no fast action. It's played in first person with a limited set of views, and no need to rush anywhere. This gentle pace is at the core of what it means to be a true goblin. We're doing everything we can to help players of all kinds enjoy the tactile, scrunchy, and satisfying mechanics we've built. That effort starts with us listening to our community. You asked us to add an option to allow players to sponge trinkets clean without holding a button down, so we did. And you asked for optional auto-chisel features for the chipping gameplay, so we implemented them. Thanks so much to our community for helping us make the game more accessible for everyone. Though a range of ongoing work we've undertaken to ensure you're able to enjoy Trash Goblin to the fullest. The mouse is used for every interaction, with optional keyboard shortcuts for navigation, and we're implementing controller support too. Tutorials use button glyphs for clarity. And the game's default font uses a clean and readable sans serif typeface with user-defined sizing. During conversations, the player can skip the text's appearance, and a button press confirms they've read everything. And there are a selection of audio and volume settings to take advantage of, plus text speed settings and more. But of course we want to do even more, so please consider wishlisting the game on Steam and play the demo there now. Then come and talk to us in our Discord and suggest even more improvements we can make. Trash Goblin. What kind of goblin do you want to be?
Hi everyone, my name is Revia and I'm a disabled and chronically ill content creator from Norway and also a co-host of the podcast Control Alt Access together with Laura. I'm a white woman in my 30s with dark red hair, wearing a yellow
Après analyse du décor, parce que évidemment on écoute trop ce qu'elle dit, nous avons un Toad,
a game where you play as
un petit raton laveur. Ouais, t'inquiète, c'est dans la tête. Petit raton laveur pas très connu juste derrière Toad, bon on va pas en parler. Un bulle bizarre, un Pikachu, une très grosse banane.
Une banane.
This game a wonderful little adventure is also accessible for me. From the focus on cognitive accessibility,
Un petit drapeau multicolore.
Bonjour, je suis la banane.
Oh, bon, la banane elle parle, c'est fou.
Bonjour la banane. Bonjour, je suis la banane. Attendez, j'ai pas remis ma voix.
Voilà.
Ah oui, pardon, elle parlait d'un jeu cette année, trop bien.
Tableau, mais si on est un slime.
Are you ready to jump into action as a cute slime? Slime Heroes has you covered.
Slime Rancher 3. Mais très bizarre quand même.
Slime Rancher.
Ouais bon, il a changé Slime Rancher.
On va avoir des skins.
You can also slow the enemy's attack speed or increase your own stamina recharge. You can extensively change your cursor for better contrast and visibility based on your preferences. There is also the ability to toggle on double jump for more control and distance in platforming sections. Timed puzzles can also be made longer so that you can have more time than you normally would to complete sections. You can outline your slime with either black or white to contrast the many colorful environments of the game for improved visibility. Enable visible hitboxes to allow you to see the exact movement of an attack or enemy, enabling you to be sure all of your attacks land as you eliminate even the most challenging corrupted enemies. This is just a sample of the things to come from Slime Heroes. In Magical Delicacy, you play as Flora, a young witch who's just moved to the harbor town of Grot to grow her magical abilities. In the game, you make new friends, discover new places, find the secrets, cook all sorts of delightful foods, and get entangled in an enchanting story. To help Flora traverse the city, there's an easy platforming option that disables disappearing platforms that would otherwise require precise timing or quick movements during puzzle or platforming areas. To improve visibility, there are also several high contrast options. You can highlight Flora's outline so she'll always stand out against her background. Additionally, you can darken the background so that the contrast can be even more visible. Beyond that, when having conversations with the mini characters of Magical Delicacy, there are even more accessibility options. You can disable any moving dialogue effects, autoplay dialogue, and you can change the game's text to a more legible font. Finally, we've worked to make the game more accessible, allowing you to rebind controls on the keyboard, mouse, or gamepad
Xbox Game Pass.
without any button holds. We hope you take the time to come and
En
visit
effet, oui, en
the city
effet.
of Grot with us in Magical Delicacy later this year. Hi, I'm Zoe Reyes, the usability and accessibility specialist at Whitethorn Games. I'm a woman with blue hair just past shoulder length, in a light pink t-shirt and wearing glasses.
À part du Overwatch et un petit bonhomme dont je connais pas le nom, je ne sais que dire sur le décor.
To help you get started, I've got a starter kit of some features you can include to help you reach your goals. One of the easiest ways to get started is to take a look at developer tools or options. A lot of times they can be great accessibility options. Commands that reset the player or give the player increased health or stamina, or more time to defeat a puzzle are all great ways to accommodate players who have reduced reaction time. By looking at the way you use your tools to test the game yourself, you can come up with surprising ways to help your players. Keep contrast in mind. This may sound rather simple, but checking how contrastive the player's view is may make the difference in making the game playable for someone with low vision or color blindness. Double check your inputs. Things like repetitive inputs and button holds can be limiting for the player. Offering alternatives such as eliminating the need for quick button presses or the ability to toggle a sustained button press is always a great idea, and if you can, try including input remapping. Including subtitles is another great way to make your game more inclusive, especially if your game has a lot of spoken dialogue. A lot of times, you already have a script ready to go, too. You can even go a step further and add subtitles for non-dialogue sounds in your game, such as environmental sounds or sounds that guide hearing players to act. Sometimes game objectives can be unclear. Instances where things are conveyed by color only or sound alone are often very inaccessible. Try conveying information in multiple ways if you can. I hope those tips help you get started. Keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list, but the good news is that there are loads of resources online from this amazing community. I recommend checking out the Games Accessibility Guidelines website, the Xbox Accessibility Guidelines, and the IGDA Games Accessibility SIG YouTube. Talking with other developers who are working on features to make their games more accessible is also one of the greatest resources we have. Our greatest strength is sharing the knowledge we gain with each other, because together we can make video games an even more inclusive space for everyone. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Milan Patel, also known as Patelosaur. I am an accessibility consultant
Oh,
and content creator, and I live with a disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. and I have been gaming pretty much my whole life, and that started getting difficult about
C'est
10
votre
years
bureau.
ago, and this is at a time before accessibility was more widely
J'ai d'autres remarques,
implemented. I kind of felt like I
mais
wasn't
je
going to be
pense
able
pas
to game again
que ça
anymore, or any
passe.
longer in the future as well. But now, since
Bon, mais vraiment, pour une
accessibility
fois,
is
c'est
more
vraiment
widely
toi qui...
implemented, and there are many more tools
Ah,
that
je
you
me
can
tais,
use
mais
now, I am now
permets-moi de
able to
faire une
play more
capture
games than I was
d'écran.
before my physical
Oula, ah oui,
difficulty
ça
started.
coupe.
So accessibility is something that's quite
Ah non,
important.
Merci.
And it's
Merci.
really great to see that it's being more widely implemented.
Voilà,
and more
bon.
people are starting to learn
De toute
about it.
façon, vous saurez jamais ce que j'ai envoyé à Deathklaw actuellement, mais.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin from Manavoid Entertainment, and today
Continuons.
we're going to talk about some of the
Pourquoi t'as fait
accessibility
un
features in
photomontage avec
Rainbow
ce
Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan. Let's
C'est une
jump
capture
right into
d'écran.
it.
Oh,
Next,
bâtard.
how we make the game accessible for people with color blindness.
Pardon.
Luckily, our
Ah non,
technical
non,
director
quelque chose de très
Alexis
gentil. Oui,
is
alors ce
actually
magnifique
colorblind
jeu.
himself, so in a game about recoloring the world of imagination, it was important to get this one right. That's why you'll always see symbols associated with
Des
color.
points de morale. Ah ben là, je viens d'en perdre
All
beaucoup avec le
colors used to
screen. Pardon.
represent emotions
Ah bah.
have all been given a symbol which is always present throughout the game.
Oh, c'est mon rêve, ça.
Items that you can interact with in the game are
Ah, ce
always
genre de
animated
dinguerie, on peut
and
tellement pas
highlighted
dire
with
ça.
color too. We used forced perspectives, which makes it easier to play with a single joystick. The camera also rotates automatically to help with puzzles and secrets. There's a lot to explore in Rainbow Billy, and we didn't want anyone to feel lost. That's why, whenever you board Friendship, the camera will always point to your current objective seamlessly.
Ça a
You
l'air
can
un
also
jeu
find your current
tout mignon à
objective on your
visiter.
compass and map that you can access at any time. There is no time limit or
Je sais
fail
pas pourquoi
state
les
in
musiques me
Rainbow
font
Billy.
penser à des jeux
This is a
comme Paper
conscious
Mario.
decision to avoid the
Voilà,
pressure
c'est
of being
tout.
put on the spot or failing tasks because you didn't react in time. So you can try again as many times as you want. It was important to us that the level of difficulty in confrontations wouldn't affect the experience, so we added a difficulty slider. Lowering the difficulty doesn't change
On va voir
the
GTA
strategy,
6.
it just gives you more leeway for errors by reducing damage taken. There's also a few options to tweak how dialogue is displayed. We've made dialogue fun to read with a lot of animations and effects. However, we know this can make the text harder to read for some people, so we've implemented the Open Dyslexic font, a dyslexia-friendly option to make it easier to read. You can also change the speed at which dialogue is displayed, and also change the character voices if you prefer more retro sounds, or none at all. Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan has so much more to offer. If you'd like to give it a try, head over to our Steam page and get ready to recolor the world. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan.
Sympathique.
Hi everyone, quick update here from Laura. The folks behind Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan have actually given us some Steam codes for the game to give away during today's Accessibility Summer Showcase. If you would like to be entered into a random draw to win one of 5 copies of Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan, you can head over to @WeAreManavoid on Twitter and find the competition tweet. 5 people will win Steam codes for the game.
Désolé, dimanche 9 juin, il y a quelque chose d'autre. Je te regarderai.
You can enter between now
Désolé
and
pour le
Sunday,
concours
June
pour avoir
9th
levé
at
la
11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you have about 2 days to respond to their tweet to get put in for a random drawing to maybe win a copy of Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan. Enjoy. Fingers
Mario
crossed you
Kart.
win. Let's get back to more games.
En avance, trop chiant.
Welcome to Spaceboat, a narrative adventure filled with colorful worlds and wacky characters. Play as Inspector Domino, an undercover space cat detective, and track down an intergalactic jewel thief. Hi, my name is Luis Alonso, and I'm the game developer for Spaceboat. Spaceboat is a narrative adventure that is meant to be enjoyed by all. It is important to give it as many accessibility options as possible. What most people don't know is that I'm also a triple amputee, and one of the few disabled solo game devs that are out there. So I take accessibility
Va avoir du
seriously.
gameplay.
Last year, we mentioned the work that was done to have a high
C'est un beau
contrast art
bateau.
direction for people with colorblindness, as well as having text for everything that was spoken or heard for people with hearing impairments. This year, we added a number of additional features. Spaceboat now has an options menu accessible at all times from within seconds of starting the game. We recently added single stick
Oula.
controls
Ah ouais,
to reduce
du
the need
gameplay.
for multiple
Waouh.
inputs. Although other buttons might be needed, this makes the majority of the game playable with one hand. Similarly, we added an auto-run feature, which reduces the number of buttons that need to be pressed. Additionally, we added input sensitivity controls so that all players can fine-tune the game to their liking. Although we mentioned that we put a lot of work into providing a high contrast art direction, we felt it was a good idea to include color-blind shader mode. We know it's not a well-loved feature, but if it helps someone in the slightest, it's there. On Steam, we also added the ability to switch controls on demand. This means that if you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, you can switch to an Xbox controller at any time. As a person with a physical disability, I know it's handy to have as many inputs available to adjust to gameplay changes. Please note that these features are currently available in our demo, which can be found on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. If you think that Spacebook could benefit from further improvement, please contact us at contact@recombobulator.ca. Thank you from everyone at Recombobulator Games.
We at Paperback Games believe that everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy the games we create, regardless of ability. We are currently developing The Darkest Files, a historical investigation and courtroom game based on true crimes. We want our games to be inclusive and welcoming to all players, which is why we've implemented several accessibility features. For one, players can choose their own difficulty and even customize it further to match their needs. The Darkest Files also features mouse-only gameplay. This allows players to play the game just by clicking with one hand, making it accessible to those who use adaptive controllers as well. In addition to mouse-only gameplay, we've also made it easy for players to switch seamlessly between input devices, such as keyboard, mouse, or controller. Of course, their sensitivity can be adjusted as well. Since players work with documents while investigating, we are also very mindful of the readability of our fonts and texts and always offer a transcription. For dialogues, there are real-time subtitles available.
Oh, ça manque un peu de musique,
While
mais ça a l'air
developing,
intéressant.
we are in contact with testers with impairments and want to continue to learn about accessibility.
Hi everyone, Laura here again. Thank you so much for tuning into this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase. As a reminder, we have a Steam sale page for this year's Summer Showcase, so you can find most of this year's games all in one place on Steam if any of them caught your interest. We've got one final trailer for you before we wrap up, but before that, I want to make a quick announcement. The Accessibility Summer Showcase is a bit of a passion project for me, and it's something that I find a lot of joy in producing.
Le Winterfest Show.
I'd like to try expanding it just a little. In December of 2024,
En avance.
I'm
Ils vont
going
faire la même
to
chose,
publish the
mais
Accessibility
cet hiver.
Winter Showcase. It'll be just like
Mais
the
c'est
Summer
littéralement
Showcase,
ça.
just happening at the other end of the year. The hope is that we can provide a
Je l'avais
spotlight
mis en
for
pause.
accessible video games whose announcement windows might not line up well with our usual summer event. If you're a developer who would be interested in featuring in the Accessibility Winter Showcase, email laurakbuzzofficial@gmail.com and we can discuss specifics. More official information will be made available in the coming weeks. There's no guarantee that the Accessibility Winter Showcase will return in future years, but I'd like to give it a go and see if it's something that I can publish sustainably. Thank you all again for watching. Please enjoy our last trailer, and I hope you have an accessible day.
Miniature.
Hey
Ah,
everyone,
this is the French
I'm Darren,
Ubisoft.
the developer of Dawnfolk, a miniature survival city builder about
En effet,
bringing light
miniature.
back to the world. I designed Dawnfolk to be the perfect entryway into the city builder strategy game genre. It's a simple game without complex menus to navigate or endless tutorials. A unique element of Dawnfolk is that you can collect resources by playing
amazing,
small,
you know.
exciting minigames. But one day, a player contacted me and told me he could not enjoy the game because those minigames required too much button mashing and dexterity. That made me so sad that I quickly updated the demo within the hour with a button to disable the minigames. He was very grateful, and watching him play afterwards really motivated me to add more accessibility features. Unlike most strategy games, Dawnfolk is completely playable with any controller you like. You can also activate haptic feedback to better understand what's happening in the game. Dawnfolk is also a narrative game, where you can reshape the story. The text is big, but you can change that 8-bit pixel font to a more readable one. You can also open the journal to read previous dialogue entries in case you need a little reminder. There are only a few key information on the screen at any time, and everything is big enough to make sure you can easily read it. The game uses signs, shapes, and high contrast colors, so you can play it whatever type of color blindness you might have. You can also activate a narrator that's gonna read everything for you.
Meadow, forest, plain, tents, wheat field. Awesome, the wheat field produces food every day.
There are tons of audio cues, but you can also perfectly play the game without any sound. Downfolk plays in real time, however no worries, you can pause time whenever you want. The game can be played with different levels of difficulty, and you can save anytime, so don't worry about making a mistake. If you're stuck, Luer will always come back to you with some advice. There's no jump scares in the game, but you do have a few screen shakes and flashes that you can disable. The game is still in development, and I'll be sure to add more accessibility features in the future. Play the demo on Steam, and let me know what you think. Have fun!
If you're watching on Twitch,
Ça ira,
tune
merci.
for a live stream
Sur ce,
showcasing
eh
demos
ben...
for Fishbowl, Dawnfolk, Magical Delicacy, Cellular City, Periphery Synthetic, and Trash
Bah
Goblin.
voilà.
Et bah voilà, j'attends jusque la dame. Voilà, elle est finie. Même pas de petit écran mode logo pendant un petit moment. D'accord, on va se remettre au début quasiment. Et ben...
C'était sympa.
Ouais, 45 minutes de conférence, c'était proposant. C'était chill.
Ouais, c'était chill. Franchement, ouais, c'était cool. Ça nous permet de nous économiser pour la grosse conférence de ce soir.
Tout à fait. C'est vrai que c'est ce soir, j'y crois toujours pas. Ah là là,
Ouais.
bon. Et ben... Bon, que dire, c'était sympa. Accessibilité,
Oui,
de ci, de ça. Hein. Même si, bon, même si c'est un peu le contexte, enfin le concept de la conf, bon, c'est peut-être trop, tu sais, c'est peut-être trop axé sur la présentation de des accessibilités ajoutées en question. Genre, on voit quasiment peu, bon, selon les jeux, on voit pas beaucoup de jeux, quoi, selon les
Bah, en
trailers, on va
fait,
dire.
le truc, c'est que ça présente les accessibilités, c'est ça, mais en fait, ça commence à être redondant parce que c'est quasiment les mêmes choses qu'ils ont ajoutées. Donc, au lieu de faire une
Également.
présentation de chaque jeu, etc., plutôt genre dire voici les jeux dont vous pouvez bénéficier en termes d'accessibilité avec ces accessibilités-là, genre tac tac tac, genre les sous-titres se lisent automatiquement avec une voix de synthèse, genre et là ça met les jeux, etc. Un petit clip avec les jeux. Mais ouais, je comprends. Je comprends pourquoi ils ont voulu faire ça, pour
Oui,
laisser un petit peu
bien sûr.
la parole aux développeurs pour parler de leur jeu et tout aussi. Et ouais, je suis d'accord.
Ok, pour ma part, j'ai une note pour la conférence. Je ne sais pas toi.
Je sais pas encore, peut-être que je vais prendre celle de. Je pense que je vais prendre la tienne en vrai.
De notes?
Ouais.
Eh ben, sache que j'allais mettre 6. Voilà.
6.
Ouais, parce que,
Ouais.
en fait, en comparatif, c'est que si la
Ça.
GFH c'est 7, je peux pas mettre 7,
On va pas mettre.
ce qu'on vient de voir.
Oui, oui, je suis d'accord, je suis
Donc on
d'accord.
est parti
La
sur
GFH,
une tendance
ouais.
assez basse pour la période, mais bon, non, 6, c'est bien. Bah, le set of play, j'avais mis 6,5, tu vois, donc...
Ah oui. Bon.
Non, 6, c'est bien. C'est 12 sur 20, quoi. C'est pas mauvais, c'est sympa, c'est un bon petit moment.
Je suis d'accord, je suis d'accord.
Voilà, voilà. Bon, pour ma part, je ne sais pas quand va sortir cette vidéo, mais ça m'étonnerait qu'elle sorte avant ce soir. Donc, on se retrouve d'ici la prochaine conférence. Je ne sais pas quand. Dans tous les cas, il y en aura pas mal. Il y a vendredi soir, samedi soir, dimanche soir. Hein. Il y a aussi lundi soir, Ubisoft Forward, 20h.
Oui, c'est vrai.
Ah là là.
20h?
Ouais, c'est ce que j'avais noté, 20h.
C'est
Je
pas
te l'avais
21h?
Je sais plus, 21h, autant pour moi.
Ouais.
Et Nintendo, j'imagine, ça tombera peut-être la semaine d'après. Enfin, la semaine d'après, quelques jours après l'Ubisoft Forward. Bon, voilà. C'est tout pour moi.
Je n'ai rien d'autre à rajouter pour ma part.
Très bien, très bien. Eh ben, merci d'avoir regardé. On se retrouve ce soir si la vidéo sort à temps sur les 2 chaînes. Et moi, je dis merci d'avoir regardé et vive, et vive
Et vive le jeu
l'accessibilité
vidéo! Et
dans les
vive
jeux vidéo.
l'accessibilité! Voilà. Des bisous
Au
à toutes, des bisous à tous
revoir.
et à la prochaine. Des bisous YouTube.